In this video, we are going to talk about the MTA Long Island Railroad and their continued destruction of the environment and making things worse when it comes to the spotted lanternfly problem. So, obviously, you're looking at a picture of these pines. These pines have been cut down. This is Merrick. But now they're doing it in Babylon, too, and we're going to talk about that. They're cutting down these native pitch pines and oaks. And the problem is, when you cut all these trees down, you're creating more spots for the tree of heaven. So let's talk about the tree of heaven. This is the tree of heaven. You've seen it growing it's very invasive, and it is the host plant for the spotted lanternfly. So if we look at some pictures, you'll see here they're very invasive. Tree of heaven here, Nature Conservancy, very invasive, rapidly spreading. There's nothing heavenly about it. And when you cut down the native trees, you're going to have more of these trees of heaven, and they are the host for the spotted lanternfly. It's invasive, and it also is the host for the spotted lanternfly, though they don't bring it up here. We can just put lanternfly, and they lay their eggs in these trees of heaven. So they have a complex relationship here, all right? So the spotted lanternfly, as you know, I've been doing videos about these things. They're everywhere on Long Island. It's worse than ever. I see them out east. I see them out east, but I see them mainly Nassau County, all over the place. Nassau, even on the South Shore. These are what the nymphs look like. And you can see a full-blown infestation here in Mineola. They're just all over this lamppost here, all right? So what the railroad is doing when they cut down all these native trees is when you cut down all the native trees here, I will show you the latest thing that they did in Babylon, and I will try to get a video from the train, but I've got to have an M9 for it because the M7s have really crappy windows. They cut down the trees all along North Railroad Avenue here, all right? And there were some pines here, and they cut most of them down, and now you have no trees at all. So this is an example of what we had. We had native trees. We had, you see, those are pines over there, maybe some pitch pines, some white pines, some oaks in there as well. So these are all native trees, and because they're growing here, there's nowhere for the tree of heaven to grow. But when they cut these trees down, all these trees were cut down. So I'm going to show you what they did here. Right, you did have some pitch pines over here. That looks like a pitch pine, and they cut most of them down. They left a few there, but most of these were cut down. Most of these, and you can see these are mostly oaks. You don't see any trees of heaven here. You see oaks, maybe some maples. There were some really nice scarlet oaks too that they cut down in this whole area. So this is something that I'm going to be contacting my elected officials with, because I think the railroad should actually pay to replant all the trees they cut down. All right. Somebody said, oh, it's the electric company. I don't think it's the electric company, because the power lines are, I think, on the other side. Maybe there are some power lines there, but I don't think it's them. I think it's the railroad doing it. So let's show you how they butchered this area. I have some pictures to show you. So here we go. Let's see. Here we go. So this is what they did. They cut down all the trees. You see what they did here? Those are just the stumps. They left all the trees. They cut them all down. All right. So you can see, look at what they did here. So these people live in these houses now. They have a view of the tracks now. When they used to have trees, these pitch pines, oaks they cut down. These people in these houses now have a view of the tracks. Instead of, you can see what they have here. So they cut down every single tree over here, right down to the street. You know that's going to cause runoff when it rains now, because you're not going to have the trees to... I don't understand the railroad and why they're doing this. This is absolute destruction, and nobody's holding them responsible. Nobody. Am I going to have to speak at another board meeting again? I may. Because they cut down all these trees over here. So what we're showing over here is North Railroad Avenue, where there used to be trees. So the people who lived in these houses had this view out their window. Now they got to look at the trains and hear the trains going by, all right? Because they cut down all the trees. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's contributing to the spotted lanternfly problem. So let's move on. I think that's the last picture here. So you can see this is an area that was cut a while ago here, and look at what's growing. Trees of heaven all over the place. This is in Massapequa, so we're going to go to Massapequa. They didn't even cut that area that long ago. We have trees of heaven growing everywhere. shouldn't even call them trees of heaven. They're actually called Ailanthus altissima. I can't even pronounce that. But whatever these things, I'm going to just call them trees of hell from now on because there's nothing good about them. And because they cut down all the native trees, like over here, I'm trying to think, it was over here. Yeah, over here. They cut down all the native trees in this spot. So all over here used to be native trees. And there were some trees of heaven here. But because they cut down all these native trees here, you have some maples in there. There are some trees of heaven mixed in. You're getting a lot of these trees of heaven growing in. All right, so, and then they also they're cutting basically every tree along the whole Babylon line is being cut. All right, they also cut this area too, over here. They've cut everything. Every tree along the whole Babylon line is getting cut. So, this is the mess that's left behind. You can see trees of heaven now growing everywhere. Look at that. This is around Seaford. You see there were oaks here. Now you have trees of heaven. There were even some pines growing in. Now you have trees of heaven. Another one. I think this is a little bit further down. This is like around between Seaford and Wantagh. Trees of heaven growing everywhere. Actually, I'm not sure where that is. That may be Massapequa, actually. So I'm not sure where I took all these pictures. But you can see, look at all the tree of heaven seedlings growing in. A whole bunch of them. Look, these are all trees of heaven. They're all seedlings growing everywhere. These are the hosts. So the Long Island Railroad is helping enable the spotted lanternfly infestation. That's what's going on. Here's some more. You see them growing everywhere. Look at that. These are tree of heaven trees. There used to be oaks here and maples. Now you got trees of heaven. So, yeah, this is what's going on. The railroad is contributing to the spotted lanternfly infestation. And because they cut down the native trees. And I think the railroad should be forced to replant all the trees they cut down. All right? And we all know these trees are going to be next here. West of Babylon, there's a whole nice little grove of pitch pines that I'm sure they're gonna cut down to. See, these are native trees here. You got oaks here. They're gonna come through here and cut all of this down. They're gonna come through and cut all this down, and in its place, you're gonna have more invasive trees of heaven. Right? These are beautiful pitch pines here, but they're gonna cut all this down, and I'm sure it's gonna happen really soon. Probably should try to get a video of this before it's gone. Come on, computer. Because all of this is going to be gone. And we have a whole bunch of pitch pines over here, too. Whole lot of pitch pines that they're going to cut down. And the trees also hold the soil together. So once you remove the trees, you're going to have more chances for landslides, track washouts. This is just this exponential waste of money. It really is. That is a beautiful scarlet oak. Look at these beautiful scarlet oaks when they change in the fall. They're cutting them down. On Long Island, we hate trees, apparently. We've got to cut all the trees down. Well, especially native ones. Look at this beautiful scarlet oak, and you got pine right here. All this is going to be gone. This is west of Babylon and east of Lindenhurst. They're going to take out all these trees next. When is this going to end? When is this insanity going to end? We have to speak up. The Long Island Railroad must be stopped, and they must be forced to replant all the trees that they cut down. And I will be contacting my elected officials and the elected officials in this area, as well as the governor's office about this, because this is bad for the environment. It's causing the spotted lanternfly situation to get completely out of control. They are out of control on Long Island. Guess where it's calmed down, though? Guess where they don't have these all over the place? When I was in New Jersey yesterday, I only saw one. Because, again, New Jersey knows how to manage its wildlife. It knows how to take care of it. Trees get respect in New Jersey. No wonder why lanternflies love Long Island. Because it's just the same thing with the southern pine beetles. Because we mismanage everything here. It's just another reason why I'm going to have to shut up and go live in New Jersey if things doesn't change. Because I don't want to live on an island where all we see is this. We don't see any wildlife. Our native flora and fauna have been wiped out because of mismanagement, because of ignorance, and because of greed. So for the Long Island Railroad, shame on you once again for cutting down more trees and creating more problems in the process.